Hello, how's it going, everybody? It's Corey Lee, and I want to clear something up. So in one of my recent videos, I said that the reason I did not make official reviews of all of my Pentax manual focus medium format lenses was because I wanted to make sure I had all the primes covered in focal lengths that I have covered in zooms. I wanna clear that up. That's not the reason why. That was only a small reason why to further enhance my purpose or not wanting to do it. And the real reason why I haven't really got around to make official thorough reviews of all of my Pentax manual medium format lenses is because I did not have a lens adapter for these lenses that was not a speed booster. And so I have some things I want to clear up about the 200 mil. This is my new 300 I got today. I had everybody go and guess how many millimeters my new lens was, and only one person said 300. But I said the 200 was one of my least favorite lenses because of the vignetting, and that I got with using it on the speed booster. But I also noticed the same problem with the 300. And then I did some tests, right? So I took a picture with this lens on the speed booster. I took a picture with this lens off the speed booster. I noticed, and I also did the same thing with the 200. And I noticed that the vignetting that I get in medium format mode is the exact same exposure as the exposure I get without using the speed booster. So I've gotten to the bottom of that vignetting, and it truthfully is just related to the speed booster. At a certain amount of millimeters, I think it just happens at 200. I've got a 150. It doesn't happen with my 150. I've got an 80 to 160. It doesn't happen at 160. So it's got to be a 200 millimeter and above kind of a thing. At 200 millimeters and above, the speed booster is not necessarily focusing light on the entire sensor. It starts to focus it a little more into the center, leaving those corners to be unspeed boosted. So that vignetting is just an unspeed boosted corner. And so what I do to get rid of them is, this is a 3x2 format. Natively, this camera's 3x2. When I put it in, when I use the speed booster, it's still 3x2, but I get that vignetting on the side with 200 millimeter and above. So you know how modern digital medium format cameras are 44 by 33 inch or a centimeter or millimeter sensors or whatever, and they have a 4x3 crop. So what I do in camera is I just give myself that traditional medium format 4x3 crop, and most of that vignetting is gone off the corner. So if I use it in the 645 digital medium format aspect ratio, the vignetting's not a problem. It's only when I want to use the full sensor and use the full 3x2 width of the sensor do I get dark corners after 200 millimeters. And so one of the things that I discovered with all of these medium format lenses, finally not using them speed boosted, is that they are all stellar optical performers, including the zoom lenses. They're all stellar optical performers to be made in 1984. I mean, if you were to buy like traditional 35 millimeter Pentax manual focus lenses in the A series, like these medium format lenses are, these perform better compared to the other focal lengths. Like they're sharper wide open than the full frame counterparts are. Like there's a full frame 300 f4, and the size of that lens ends like right here. But guess what? As I'm sitting here reading reviews and looking through samples, the lens isn't sharp wide open. You have to stop it down to get some kind of contrast and some kind of sharpness and things like that. But with these medium format lenses, it's not necessary that I stop these down in order to get what's in focus sharp enough to take advantage of the resolution of the camera. So, not speed boosted. These lenses are sharper. Speed boosted, they are only a hair unsharp. But if I stop it down one stop, which the speed booster is giving me an additional stop anyway, it does get a little sharper with the speed booster. Another thing I wanted to say about each and every one of my medium format lenses is that in full frame mode, they are the same field of view as full frame lenses. I knew that already. A 300 mil would look like 300 millimeter no matter what format you put it on. But the other only thing that'll be different is the crop factor. But a 50 millimeter lens, like a 50 millimeter Canon lens, has an equivalent field of view as my 55 millimeter medium format lens. I knew that already, but a lot of other people don't know that. Some people believe that as long as a medium format lens and you can adapt it, that you're getting a medium format field of view just because it's a medium format lens. But that's no different than expecting yourself to have a full frame field of view just because you put a full frame lens on a crop sensor camera. It's literally the same concept. So I want to make sure I clear up that confusion for everybody who might be a little confused on that. But other than that, I have a lot of sample images I need to take of this 300 millimeter and also my 200. I'm gonna be doing a lot of my pictures in just regular full frame mode on this 300. And then I'm also gonna do some in medium format. The ones in medium format I'll be able to remember because they'll have vignetting. The ones in full frame I'll remember because they won't. But I still haven't really gotten to be able to thoroughly review all 7 of my medium format manual lenses. And the focal lengths I have uncovered right now, the only focal lengths I have uncovered are, the only lenses I don't have covered. Like, I might have these focal lengths covered in zooms, but I'm still waiting on the 45, the 75. I think I might pass on the 120 macro, or I might just get it anyway. But I'll put that up there. And I'm also looking into getting a 600. I think the one I'll go with first is the 75, and then I'll go with the 600. But the 120, not really 100% enthused about the 120, because one of the issues that I've noticed in in macro photography is that I can never get enough depth of field. So doing that in medium format will only make things harder for me to actually achieve what it is I want to achieve. But it'll still have a unique look to it, and I can still always work around that. In full frame mode, it'll just be a regular 120 millimeter macro lens. But if I were to use that in full frame mode, I may as well just get a full frame macro lens and not only have a smaller lens, but probably a slightly easier to use lens too, and a slightly less pricey. Well, no, the one I'm looking at is actually pretty pricey for a manual lens. I'm actually looking at the 35 millimeter version of the Pentax 200 f4 macro. That's the one I'm looking at, is the full frame Pentax A series 200 f4 macro. That's the one I want. I don't want any other macro lens but that one. And maybe I might get that one before the 120. But now that I actually almost have all the medium format lenses covered, I want to start throwing in some A series 35 millimeter lenses too, because some of them got focal lengths that I don't have in medium format, like a 200 macro. Yes, I could take a 200mm lens and put an extension tube on it, but nothing's like a real macro lens. Macro lenses are designed to have stellar image quality at those extra close focusing distances, and other lenses are not really designed for those purposes, but you can still rig it up to work. So before I actually get a real macro lens, I am going to get some extension tubes and make do with that first, because that's the cheapest way to get there. It's just not the best way to do it. But yeah, so now that I have a regular bare bones lens adapter for my medium format lenses, it's actually time to start reviewing these and showing people what the real quality of these are like, speed boosted and not speed boosted. And then I think sometime later on I might sell my Sigma FP and a couple adapters and lenses and just get a GFX 50S now that they're like dirt cheap now. And then I'll be able to start reviewing a lot of these lenses on real medium format sensor, and I don't really have to try to make compromises with speed boosting and things like that. But there's a lot of people interested in this setup, like the speed booster, turning a full frame camera into a medium format. It's a lot of people that want to do stuff like that, but they don't want to take a risk on a $700 adapter. That's an expensive adapter. That adapter will cost you what all of these lenses would. I mean, some of these lenses, I think I paid $40 for my 200, and that was like my cheapest one. And I think my most expensive one was the 300, and I actually had to pay extra for this because I needed a tripod foot. I wanted 3-day shipping, and I also got these lens adapters in the package. And Pentax 645 lens adapters are like $50 minimum. So that was actually a pretty good deal. But traditionally, you can find these 300s for like $200. If you order them for Japan and if you don't mind it taking 2 weeks to get to you, you can spend about $100 less. And then on top of that, the glass on this was extra clean, no fungus. I would rather pay extra to know the glass is clean than to pay a little extra to take a risk. So I can actually put my own wear and tear on this. But yeah, I thought I might want to cover that. I actually have a real deal, just bare bones adapter now. So I don't have to try to imagine how these lenses perform through a speed booster. Now I know how they perform with or without one. It's actually time to give my real opinions on them. But I thank everybody for liking these videos, watching these videos, and subscribing to my channel. I promise you guys are gonna have real deal medium format lens reviews coming up in just a moment, because now I'm actually able to do it. I don't know why it took me so long to do that. I mean, it's only an adapter. That could have been done in a day or two, but I don't know. But other than that, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Enjoy yourself, and thank you for watching.